Wanda, how are you? I haven't seen Wanda R in a long time. So Wanda R and Wanda W have met in many other circles, and we just kind of connected with each other because our names are the same. But we actually have the same, goals, and just hoping that we can do things together too. So someday, Wanda, you and I are going to be working together again.
That sounds like a powerful duo right there.
Yes, I know. I want to be there. And then I see Heidi. It's the first time I've ever seen someone with the same McNamara last name, which on this one, it looks like I'm Jenny. So I'm going to rename myself.
All that time I thought I was actually speaking, and of course I had not unmuted, but good morning, Happy New Year. Wanda, ditto on everything. Jenny, I love you.
I love you too, Wanda. How are you doing?
Good, thank you. Happy to be here.
So glad to see you.
Mhm.
Here, we're gonna put some lights on.
I like Heidi's background.
Oh, I
Yeah,
know. The tropical.
Yeah, that's where I wish I were right now, especially tomorrow.
Me too.
Right? Is it going to be really minus 15? Is that really?
That's what they're saying.
Oh,
I don't know.
whew.
I say another inside weekend. I tend to hibernate in the winter anyway because I cannot stand the cold. So I say that it's either Eskimo mode to get to work and home, and then the rest I stay home.
I'm starting to wonder what I will be like after all of this. Will I be able to go out in the world? Hi, Karen.
Hi, Karen. Oh, I see Amy and Christina. I think that's Christina Smith who just emailed me.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hi, Amy.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for resending the link, right? When people are busy and you have a lot to do, it is such a gift to not have to then say, where do I find it? So thank you.
Oh, Marie
You're
is the
welcome,
best.
Amy. I feel that way all the time. Like, where is that? And then you're searching your email. Like, do I search for the Zoom? Like, what am I searching for? So I appreciate that. Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning,
Hey,
Amber.
Morning.
Michelle, Macaron Brophy, it's Wanda. After like 5 years, we finally get to see each other through Zoom.
Michelle, you can unmute.
Wanda, thank you so much for your birthday card and remembering me.
Welcome.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Happy
That's how
New
you used to work
Year.
together. Happy New Year
Yes.
to you too.
Hello, Michelle Brophy.
Who else am I finding that I know here?
Oh, I think that's Wanda Reyes.
The other Wanda.
Oh my gosh, two Wandas. I hit the jackpot today. Hi, everyone.
Hello.
Isn't this nice how our lives intersect? Which is not surprising because of our shared commitments and values. So what a nice group of people on this meeting.
Yeah.
Very exciting.
We are really excited. We were just saying that the other day, that as hard as it is to not be in person, these are sort of the bright light, right, amongst the freezing cold, and seeing people that all doing good work. Thank you all.
Oh,
Thank you.
I see Karen. I love seeing all these names. You're welcome to not share.
Everybody.
Hi,
I'm
Good
Karen.
morning. If you don't want to share your video, that's totally fine. But we'd love to see your faces, and then we know everyone's busy, and you can mute yourself. We'll probably be muting. Hi.
Nice to see everybody. Nice to see everyone. I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah.
But I am going to keep my video off. But I'm here. I'm here.
Michelle,
it's Ann Thomas. How are you?
oh my goodness, Ian. This is so exciting. What a reunion.
Wow.
How are you,
So
Ian?
nice to see you.
I know, Sam on tutorial, so hard to remember those
know.
days.
Oh my gosh. It was the last century, Michelle.
No, that's true. Oh, that's wonderful. So nice to see you.
Yeah, nice to see you too.
Okay, Jen, it's 10:01. I know people are probably going to keep appearing, so I will monitor that, and I'm actually going to be sharing my screen, so I'll be exiting for a little bit. But do you think we should start, Jenny, or wait a
Sure,
few minutes?
but before, yeah, I think getting started, but I want to make sure everyone gets introduced to the Aurora team before Marie switches her camera off. Marie McNamara, our program manager, and Amber Anthony, our development manager, are both on the call. So if you could both wave and maybe say hello.
Morning.
Good morning, everyone. If I haven't met you already, I'm the pain of the emails that you'll see a million of. So, but I'm so happy to see all of you guys, and we were really hoping that this could have been in person. And at some point, we promise we will have a convening of being able to have everyone in the same room at some point. But thank you all for joining us.
And I'm Amber Anthony, development manager, and I'm just thrilled to be a part of this today and see all of these wonderful faces that are new to me, and as we step off into this new year. So welcome. Thank you.
Terrific. And Marie is recording today so that we'll share out the recording for folks that weren't able to join us. I'm going to talk for a little while. The overview is, please introduce yourselves in the chat. We're going to have a question portion at the end of the little informative program here. So feel free to be putting questions in the chat, or just hold them until the end. And you've met our fabulous staff. So if you need to reach out to them, please do. I think Marie's probably going to put her contact information in the chat. She has a whole bunch of links that she'll be sharing as we go. And so this morning, I'm just going to start off with an overview of Aurora and our college success grant making. We're thrilled that you're all here. We couldn't be prouder of the partnerships that we have across the community, and we are so appreciative of the hard work that all of you do for women and girls. And so thank you so much for making time to be here this morning. And I'll end with some information about some of our upcoming events, just so that you'll be in the know, and then we'll have an opportunity to ask questions. So Marie, if you could advance the first slide. So I'd like to start off with an overview of why Aurora exists. We're a women's fund. We're the only freestanding women's fund in Connecticut. And women's funds are important because we're trying to address the inequity in charitable giving. This appalling graphic that I put up here, right, shows this is updated. This is actually better than it used to be, where out of, we're talking close to $400 billion of charitable giving in the US, less than 2% is directed to women and girls. If you think about women and girls of color, we're down to 0.5%, right? So the goal of women's funds is to redirect resources, is to raise money, to direct those resources to women and girls, which I think everybody on this call can agree is the best kind of investment that you can make. Marie, can you give me the next slide? So Aurora's mission is to be a catalyst for positive change in the lives of women and girls in Greater Hartford. So we achieve that mission through several strategies. And one of those is our research and convening. We do research about the status of women and girls, and we share it because we know that small nonprofits that are doing the great work for women and girls don't have that capacity. So we want you to have the resources you need to make the case for the need, to evaluate your programs, to get the funding from other sources. So here are some of the resources that we provide. Marie, if you can advance the slide. So we were incredibly proud of our being part of the collaborative project to produce the Essential Equity Report that we published last January. We're working on some follow-up data, but this data still remains incredibly relevant. We were ahead of the nation, really, in being able to provide real-time data about the inequitable impact of COVID-19, particularly on women and girls of color. So you can find this on our website. Marie will put up lots of links in the chat to be able to get to this data so that you all can use it. We touched on, it's got sections on health, on women as workers, on housing, on hunger, you know, and we worked with community partners throughout the region on policy recommendations, some of which have actually been enacted. So it was really exciting work, and we continue to follow it up. You'll see when we get to upcoming events, we've just partnered with the Fair Housing Center and Connecticut Data Collaborative again to produce new research that shows the race and gender breakdown of evictions that are happening in Connecticut over the last 5 years. And it's not going to surprise anybody to, you know, find out that, of course, women of color are disproportionately impacted by the eviction crisis. But like with all of our data, even though we, the people working in this field, right, we know what's going on. What we want is the resources to document this for all the other folks that aren't clued in, right? For the decision makers, for the legislators, so that we can point to the hard facts of who is being impacted. Next slide, please. The reason we could respond so quickly with the Essential Equity Report was because we'd already invested resources and built a strong collaborative coalition to produce the Women and Girls Data Platform. Oh my gosh, I'm so proud of this thing. And you all have heard me nerd out about this before, right? I really encourage you all to go and check it out. We've got so much data on there, and you can change all of the data visualizations based on geography. So you can compare the whole state of Connecticut to your county, to your city, and get information that way. There's no other platform like this in the country for data on women and girls. We're extremely proud of it. And we've, many of you have even attended, we've worked with Connecticut Data Collaborative to do some data literacy training to help you better use this tool. And we'll be doing more of that. So we'll be sure and invite you all as we schedule more of those opportunities, because for us, it's an equity issue, right? We know that most nonprofits that serve women and girls are run, not surprisingly, right, by women. And we also know that women of my age, right, in middle school, had that kind of sharp drop off in interest in science and math, right? So we want to help build the data literacy skills of all of your organizations so that you can effectively use this data that we produce and build the capacity then of your organizations, right? Because so much of what you know, funding is driven by having a kind of data informed approach. So that's our goal. Next slide, please. All right, so how does this specifically, you know, so when we think about strategies, Aurora's major grant making is focused and has been since 2016 on college success for women and girls in Greater Hartford. And these next slides are going to kind of show how we think about it in a data informed way. So can you advance the slide, Marie? Thanks. Okay, so what we continue to see, right, and you can get this, you can find more on this on the data platform, is that an education gap persists, particularly for women of color, and really for all women in Hartford County and in the city of Hartford, right? That only 20% of women have a bachelor's degree, right? When we move from Hartford County to the city of Hartford, that goes down to 7%, right? And you can see then the ways that the percentages drop off, particularly for Black women and Hispanic women. This is important because we really know that there is this kind of direct tie to earning potential. You can go ahead to the next one, Marie, that was fine. Right, that where we see, high school diploma versus GED, the huge jump to having a bachelor's degree, right? And so Aurora has really kind of keyed in on getting more access to higher education as being a way to really increase women's economic mobility in the region, right? And kind of break the cycle of poverty. We're looking to increase those opportunities. Next slide, please. This was really brought home to us with the essential equity data study that we did about COVID-19. During the first 6 months of the pandemic, for the first time in Connecticut's history, women's unemployment claims outpaced those of men, right? It had never happened before in the history of Connecticut, or keeping track of these records. And 75% of those women that were applying for unemployment did not have a college degree, right? So we're also seeing the ways in which bolstering access to college degrees can help insulate women from the worst effects of both this pandemic, and not to be a bummer, right? But we know something that, will be coming next, right? There will be some other crisis. And so we're looking to try and equip women to be able to maintain their kind of economic security. Next slide, please. And then we're really conscious, and I think the essential equity report really brought this home, right? Of all the other stresses that women who are trying to get their higher education degree are facing, right? These, 1 in 4 US undergraduates is a parent, right? And 70% of those are moms, right? And almost half of Black women in college are raising children. So, higher education doesn't usually make any sorts of provisions for that, right? Like even the FAFSA, the financial aid form, doesn't let you claim childcare expenses. So we are trying to be really cognizant of all of the ways that women who are pursuing higher education need support, particularly women of color, low-income women, first-generation women college students, right? That we know that with the kind of supports that the programs that we have funded put in place, then they are much more likely to graduate and then, go into careers that have that higher earning potential. Next slide, please. So just a quick overview. Aurora, while we switched our focus totally to college success in 2016, we were funding these kind of programs as early as 2014. And so over 1,000 women have participated in a program that Aurora has helped to fund. 68% of those women are women of color. 63.5% of those women were Pell Grant eligible, right? Which means that they have some economic need. So far, we've done $556,000 of grant funding in this area, and this year we're looking to add $100,000 to that total, which I'm super proud of. Next slide. So here's some of the nitty-gritty about this grant-making cycle. I do want to point out that we have found some best practices from working with our partners that we've funded. And those include identifying and addressing obstacles such as food insecurity, high levels of stress, academic and occupational demands, lack of financial literacy, and parenting responsibilities, and trying to develop supports around those. Increasing student exposure to new fields of studies, new career paths, to resources on and off campus that they might not be otherwise aware of. Ensuring, we've certainly seen in this past how long has this been going on? Right, access to technology as being really important, so that they can access remote learning. And certainly improving confidence and persistence and self-advocacy as focuses of these programs. And then creating networks and supportive community environments with role models and mentors and peers. That is always the most heartwarming to me as the students form peer groups, as they are able to connect with women who have who can kind of mentor them and show them the way. It's really exciting. All right, so for 2022, as I said, we've got $100,000 to give out. We have shifted to making larger grant awards. So we expect that $100,000 to be pieced out to probably 4 to 6 organizations. They need to be programs that are designed to increase college success for women students, particularly students of color, first-generation college students, and economically disadvantaged students. The programs must serve women in Greater Hartford and have a thoughtful approach to addressing the impact of gender, along with race and class, on women's college success. And then you can see you all have gotten the grant outlines, but right, you need to be a 501c3, tax exempt. Your program needs to be based in Greater Hartford, and it needs to increase the college completion rate of women and girls. Next slide. Okay, so here's our calendar as we go forward. So by February 11th at 5 p.m., please send your letter of intent to grants@aurorafoundation.org. And you can find guidelines for those letters of intent in our grant guidelines that are on our website. And we'll also, I think Marie is putting them in the chat right now. Then by February 28th, our grants committee will meet and notify people that are asked to fill out a full application. Those full applications will be due on March 31st, and then we'll have site visits in April, and we'll see if those will be in person or virtual, or, we'll do our best. And then we will notify folks by mid-June that they have secured funding. Next slide. Okay, so that's the grant making, but we would love for you to be part of Aurora's community and join us for some of our other programming. On Thursday, January 27th, we're very excited to have Nelba Marquez Green, who was our keynote speaker at our virtual luncheon this past year, lead a facilitated conversation on the book, What Happened to You?, to talk about how to deliver trauma-informed care to women and girls. We have invited many of you. If you haven't got a chance, if you didn't get any of our outreach and would like to attend that event, we still have a couple of spots left. I'm not sure if we have any more free books that were supplied by a fabulous former board member, Carly Mao. But you can email Marie if you would like to be part of that conversation. Then on it should be Tuesday, February 8th, we'll do the data release on the new eviction data that's broken down by race and gender. So that should be a great program, and we certainly invite you all to come to that. Then our annual meeting will be on Monday, March 28th, and that'll be virtual, and we would love to have you all attend. And then our Women's Giving Circle starts up in May. And I think many of you are familiar with that. We've been focusing on COVID relief for the past 2 years, where our committee is working on what the theme will be this year. But that's coming up, as well as, because there's not enough going on, our 100 Men campaign will be kicking off. That you met our staff member, Amber Anthony, and she leads that effort. But we're looking forward to getting that geared up. And if you have men that are connected with your organization, or that that you think would be great champions for women and girls, we hope that you'll send them our way. Next slide. And we've been really trying to up our social media game. So please follow us, share our posts. And I think that's our call to action for you today. So I think we can close out the slides and see everyone and invite you to ask questions. I haven't been able to keep an eye on the chat, so I don't know if there are any questions in the chat.
I'm gonna go look back on that. I was too busy cutting and pasting. But I love
Hello,
seeing
this
it.
is Yasmin Blackburn from the Foundation for Educational Opportunities. I actually had put a question in the chat. It was about what's the definition of women and girls in terms of the program? Is there maybe an age range that classifies a girl, or I don't know, a status in life that denominates a woman? If you could please elaborate.
That seems like a philosophical question, but I will try my best. I would say that the programs that we have been funding under College Success range from traditional aged college students to older students that are returning, so adult students that are coming back. We haven't been funding programs that are for high school age girls to get them into college. We haven't, because we have such a limited amount of funding, we haven't sort of reached back to those programs at this point.
Okay.
But that's something we can talk about. If you want to reach out to me, we can talk about it.
Okay, no problem. Thank you.
Sure.
Jenny, can I ask a quick question?
Sure, Wanda.
So, I'm looking at this list of fabulous women who are calling in today, and I'm sure that there are more. Is there an opportunity for us to then connect and collaborate and provide, kind of like connectivity within each other? Michelle, I know you're working with high school students. The other Wanda, I know you're working at MCC. I work, at Charter Oak State College. Is there a way that we can provide some kind of a collaborative portal funnel for students who, if we catch them early enough, to be able to have them be sponsored, or somehow that we can come up with a cohort of students that we can go from, high school age all the way through to their, earning their degree, their bachelor's. I have a couple of students in our Women in Transition program that go off and get their master's and PhDs at some point. So, there's this potential for success here. I just wonder if there's a way that we can collaborate.
I mean, I think we would be happy to host a follow-up Zoom meeting. We can also, if maybe we can send out an email for everybody who's okay with us sharing their contact information. We can certainly connect folks that way. And also, I think it would be easy for us to host, just to provide the logistical support to host a follow-up to this. Certainly.
Yes. And Wanda, I thank you so much for saying that. I know Amy Barzak, we've talked about this. It's been my dream since I started 2 years ago to actually facilitate an in-person. I think, being able for all of us to get in the same room and be able to bounce ideas off each other and even, more importantly, talk about things you struggle with, right? Like how you've overcome certain challenges. And I think most of you on the call all have the same you feel like you're alone, but you're really not. So I absolutely would love to do that. And I will, after this, we'll be sending out the recording, but I'm happy to share information. And I'm also getting a text from Amber that we'd like to take a picture and would all be able to share it and wave to everybody. But yes, I'm really happy to do that. So Amber, are you ready to take a picture to be able to share? We're really trying to beef up our social media these days.
Yeah. And it might take me a couple of chances here because that 1, 2, 3 is just not all working. So bear with me. I've been working on this, but okay, yay. 1, 2, 3, cheese. No, keep at it, guys. Not there yet. Yes. Okay, there's one. Let's go for another. No.
Well,
okay, we got one. I'm gonna go with the default here. Let me
Okay.
go with the other one. Let's go with the phone. You know, old school is good.
Perfect. And thank you. I see that everyone's writing in their chat too. So I guess more importantly, if you do not want your information shared, that's probably an easier way to go about that. Just let me know. And oh, great question. Abby's saying, can we contribute a directory of services for college students? All stages of pipeline. That is great. Yes, in our list of wonderful things we want to do this year are resource pages and reference pages. So stay tuned.
Can also offer some support. I don't just want to throw out a task on what everyone has very full plates. So if that's something you would like assistance with as well, just putting that out there.
Yeah, thank you.
Can I answer any other questions about the grants process? And I want to thank, there are a number of Aurora's board members and on our call today. So thank you all so much for tuning in and being here. And they make up our fabulous grants committee that is really thoughtful about this whole process. So thank you all.